Hi everyone, welcome back to IR Unfiltered, the podcast where we break down international relations for curious minds of all ages. Today, we're diving into something that might sound boring at first, but actually affects the price of your phone, the food on your plate, and even your country's power on the world stage. Today's topic is economic pacts, which are those complex sounding trade agreements between countries that actually hold up a huge chunk of the way our world works. So, what are economic pacts? In simple terms, these are alliances between countries to boost their economies. These agreements allow nations to grow their GDP, gross domestic product, encourage imports and exports, keep their currency stable, and avoid massive financial shocks. Some are between neighboring countries, others are across continents, but they all work towards one main goal: mutual economic benefit. Now, let's go through some examples that show how these pacts actually play out in the real world. First up, we've got BIMSTEC, which is short for Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectorial Technical and Economic Cooperation. It includes countries like India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan. Basically, countries around the Bay of Bengal, hence its name. The idea is to boost regional cooperation in trade, energy, connectivity, and more. For India, it's a strategic alternative to dealing with the sometimes tense SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Additionally, it helps strengthen ties with Southeast Asia. Next, speaking of Southeast Asia, we've got ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. It's made up of 10 countries, from Indonesia to Vietnam, and it's one of the most successful regional organizations. ASEAN has built a powerful internal market and has become a key in the global manufacturing hub. Think electronics, textiles, and even auto parts. India isn't a member, but it has trade agreements with ASEAN, which help us export and import more easily with the region. Now, RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. It includes the countries of ASEAN and 5 other major countries like China, Japan, and Australia. It's the largest trade agreement in the world, covering about 30% of the global GDP. India was part of the negotiations but dropped out in 2019 over concerns about cheap Chinese imports hurting our domestic industries. Still, it shows how powerful regional groupings can be when they come together. Another big one is the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP. This one's a bit like a rebranded TPP after the US pulled out. It includes countries like Japan, Canada, Australia, and Chile. The goal? Deep integration, not just eliminating tariffs, but also setting high standards for labor, environment, and even intellectual property rights. Then there's the IPEF, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. Launched by the US in 2022, it's a newer model. Unlike traditional FTAs, the framework doesn't focus on removing tariffs. Instead, it's about rules, digital trade, clean energy, and anti-corruption. India is part of the IPEF, but they've chosen not to join the trade pillar, again because of concern about protecting the domestic interests. Also, APAC, which includes Asia Pacific countries that are economically connected. It includes giants like China, Japan, India, and Australia, and it's the fastest growing region globally. A lot of the trade pacts we're talking about fall under this APAC umbrella. Then we've got the European Union, or EU, which takes it one step further. It's not just an economic pact, it's a supranational organization. Countries trade freely, share a common currency in most cases, and follow common rules. But there's a catch. They give up a little bit of their sovereignty in return. That's why the Brexit happened. The UK wanted more control over its own laws, even if it meant leaving the EU's huge market. And finally, we've got BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. It's not a trade pact in the traditional sense, but a powerful economic bloc. Recently, it's been expanding and gaining political influence too. Countries like Indonesia and Thailand have joined as observers, curious about what BRICS could offer them. For India, BRICS is a way to balance the Western dominance in a global economics. So, why does all of this matter? Because these pacts shape the job market, the environment, tax access, and even your favorite brands. Whether you realize it or not, your life is already being shaped by how countries trade, ally, and compete. Well, that's it for today's episode of IR Unfiltered. If you enjoyed it, follow the show and share it with your friends. I'll be back next week with another unfiltered take on international politics and how it actually affects you.